It was good. I mean, you can't expect much from day one other than it being day one, but I thought overall it was good.
How was the conditioning for your guys coming in? I know they've worked out, I think, 3 weeks, the past 3 weeks. How was the conditioning?
Yeah, I thought that was what really helped us today is that most of our guys, if not all of them, have come in pretty fit, and so we don't have to artificially try and focus on additional conditioning. We can really just kind of get better as a team and really more so focus on just competing and playing hard.
From a basketball standpoint, is there anything that you changed from last year to this year in terms of how you'll break up sort of the X's and O's throughout the week?
Yeah, well, we're going to always continue to push the envelope in terms of how we're working with our players and how we're teaching and coaching. I think every coach in every sport at every level is continuing to try to find ways to reach their players. What's the best way to structure practice? How efficiently do you move in and out of your different activities? We're doing that ourselves. We did that today. We'll keep doing it all season.
Is there a general message to the guys up here at West Point as you start training camp?
Well, for us, starting the season last year, we had high expectations about what we could do, and our team, obviously we had no idea the number of injuries and the things that would take place and how our team would change. And so I think being here at West Point again reminds us of how committed to the process we have to be, and that it's really not always about the final destination or the end of the journey, but really find ways to find some peace and some joy in what you're doing day to day. So, having the opportunity to be here for us is really about, being committed to the process, kind of being more servers than always thinking that we have to lead. And, I think we're all just trying to get better one day at a time.
Derek, you were saying before that you weren't sure exactly how hard you pushed Carmelo. He's cleared to do whatever, but the practice today, the practice tonight, was there any part that he kind of held out? It looked like there were a couple of wind sprints that he just kind of held back. Was he able to get through most of it?
No, he did everything today.
Okay.
The sprints were based on how many points teams had scored for getting defensive stops or not.
Oh, okay.
So some teams had to run a little bit more than others.
Okay.
But, Melo did everything that his team, had to do and participated in everything we did today. We'll obviously have to monitor, Melo as well as all of our players from practice to practice and day to day. And there'll be times where we pull guys out just because it's best for them, not because they're really hurt for any reason, but it's a long season.
Do you expect him to go as much? I think you guys are doing 2-a-days. Do you expect him to go just as much in the second session of practices?
I mean, I expect him to do everything unless we tell him not to. He's genuinely excited to be back on the court. Any player that's suffered a major injury, has surgery, been away from basketball basically for 6 months, they're excited to touch the ball again and be back. So I don't expect he'll want to hold himself out, but we'll try our best to kind of manage it, as we have a long way to go.
What did you think of? This is the second year that they've come here to West Point. What do you think they get out of this setting?
Well, you can ask them more than me what they get out of it.
What do you like about having it up here?
Well, I think it immediately sets the stage that being in the NBA and having to practice twice a day is not the hardest thing to do in the world. And it just reminds us about the perspective that we should keep in life, and that we're truly, kind of blessed and fortunate to be able to call ourselves New York Knicks and play basketball for a living. And, the sacrifices that the young men and women make here are far beyond anything we could do on the basketball court. And I think it helps our guys understand that message as well.
What do you think of Kristaps' first real NBA practice?
I don't know if he surprises me at all. He's an extremely talented young man. I think we've bragged a lot about his work ethic and how serious he takes his job, even though he's 19 years old. And I don't think he showed anything different than that today. So I guess he didn't strike me as high or low. He was right where we've always seen him be, and working hard, doing everything we asked him to do.
Derek, is there a higher level of comfort for you as this open your second training camp versus last year when everything was a first?
For sure. I think similar to anyone in any profession that goes through something for the first time, you learn a lot, and you're more comfortable and confident as you go forward. That applies for me as a coach, and I think I feel it. I think our players will feel it, and at the end of the day, it's really just about our team finding some success and that starts with kind of the stage that I said, and then the rest of it falls on the players and how far they want to go.
When teams start open here, defense first, is that your philosophy here this year?
Yeah, I mean that's the way I grew up playing the game. That's the end of the floor that I believe in the most, and I think that all successful teams in basketball for sure, and just probably in any sport, if there's defense involved, that's what you have to do to win. And you don't necessarily have to be the number one defensive team in the league, but you have to be able to stop people. You have to be able to prevent people from being able to score, make it hard for them to run their offense, disrupt timing. And that's the end of the floor that's going to get it done for us. I know a lot of press is based on what we do offensively, but we'll score points. We're a pretty good offensive team based on our roster, so we'll find ways to score. But if we can't stop people, it doesn't mean anything.